stomach
Wow.
pumped. I feel like I just partied at a college frat party and I need all this to come up.
Just turn that way, shoot that.
Yeah, right. They're just on to me.
Oh my god.
Susanna, why don't we start with you? What was your strategy today?
My coach and I had talked about just like making sure that I stayed in the front pack, and that if there was like kind of a one or two that went out, to not do that. But the Japanese athlete who went out in front, it didn't seem like kind of a breakaway. It just seemed like she was having, she's feeling good, and kind of stretching her legs. And I kind of separated kind of before I realized it. And it was great to have Jess up there, and I feel like we exchanged a couple, words of encouragement, and I think we just kind of, I felt very settled by having her there. And I think when people, like, I think the whole time when I was in the front, I was just reminding myself that, like, they are going to come back, and, like, you have to run your own race and you can't panic. And I think I did a pretty good job of that. Like, when they went, I, like, kept it together. So, I'm bummed that I was fourth, but, like,
What was the feeling like when you had 30-second lead on the field?
I kind of figured they were going to come back, but I figured I needed to run my own race, and I think I just kept telling myself, like, when it happens, to stay positive and stay in it. And my coach biked every long run with me on a trail cog at CNO Canal, and I just, like, the bike that was in front of, or my motorcycle that was in front of me, I just kept on reminding myself, like, this is just like your long runs. Keep it together.
Your splits were pretty level.
I think so. Yeah,
I mean, it's not like
I was looking at my watch to make sure that we were, like, getting closer to the finish. I wasn't really paying attention to the pace.
Ditto.
So,
And how about you, Jess?
Yeah, my plan was similar. Honestly, around, like, I don't even know what mile mark that was, but I went to Susanna and I'm like, the Africans were just trying to slow us down. Like, you could tell there were, like, conversations happening and there were, like, movements trying to slow the pace, and I'm like, I'm not running their race, I'm going to run my race. And honestly, like, the pace was kind of oscillating, and for me that was just like, I don't know, it was like kind of stunting my, like, stride, and I just kind of wanted to open up. And honestly, like Susanna, I've run miles alone and that doesn't scare me, and we just kind of looked at each other and we're like, let's just keep running. Like, I think we were like 5:30s maybe.
Yeah.
So it felt comfortable. But my coach, David, and I were just kind of chatting, and he's like, don't go with any, trust your gut. I feel like I've spent the last few years learning how to do that again, and I think I have good race instinct, so it was kind of just like gauging the first big moves that happened in the first 10 miles or so, and let him go if it seemed too early. But honestly, I felt so good through 13 miles, and then I feel like, things started taking their toll a little bit, the conditions. Honestly, I got every bottle and got every gel down, but I just felt like I was just managing the gut a lot more than I used to. And then the fumes from the motorcycles were, like, honestly getting me, like, kind of dizzy. So I was trying to, like, weave away from those a little bit, but honestly, like, I wanted top 10 as, like, a B goal. Really wanted top 5 as an A goal, but first time on the world stage outside of the majors, so you can't complain. It's so awesome to see Susanna around the turns and give her a big thumbs up. So.
Yeah, I feel like they were just really good team vibes. Like, when there was, like, I don't remember what point it was, but there was a point where they did a surge, and, like, we both went with it, and then Jess got out on the outside and said they're slowing down, and I said, just let me get out and we can go. And she waited for a second and let me get out, and then we went together, and it just, like, I feel like this whole build, like, I didn't contribute much to my college team, maybe vibes, but, like, not scoring, and so it's just been.
Do you know if your kids watched your class?
They said they were going to. There was some chatter about watch parties, so hopefully. I don't know the 6th graders super well yet because we just started school, but my former 6th graders, the 7th graders now, there were a couple of them that said that they were going to have friends over and watch, so we'll see. It was a reasonable time in the States to watch. So.
What do you teach?
6th grade math.
Yeah. At what school?
So I think I'm okay.
Sorry, what?
The Langley School.
Okay.
That's in McClain.
Gotcha.
It's the OCIA. That's what Langley.
Yeah. And how did you prepare for the humidity?
I don't think so.
DC, it's just soupy, but honestly, it was, like, unseasonably cool the last month, and so I was starting to get a little worried. and we've been kind of popping up to Acadia every once in a while. We have a house up there, and like I love doing training up there because it's really hilly, but it's not humid enough. And so I was trying to get in the hot tub a lot. In the last, honestly, just in the last week I got here. My husband's a Marine, and so we've been venturing out to Camp Zama, and they have a steam room and a hot tub, and so I've been doing runs there and then hopping in a hot tub in the steam room. And so there were several times, my coach always jokes around with me that I talk to myself, and I know I was talking to myself a lot today. And there were a couple of times where it's just hot tub, hot tub, hot tub. This isn't as bad as a hot tub.
Yeah,
So
there was a lot of shit
I think
going
that
on.
helped a
Just
lot, just mentally, to realize that I've been in conditions worse than this when I've been sitting in a hot tub.
When did Pythonane, your wife, when did you pass it?
Yeah.
The third place.
Yeah.
Maybe
There was there were just a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
I'm literally just
And
gonna come in front at this point.
the girl who Masai, I think, stepped off in the last maybe 8K or so too, when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm back and forth. So at that point, third was I didn't, my hamstrings were starting to kind of seize up a little bit, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to push this one now.
Fine until mile
After the race, you had a race tournament with Japanese.
Yeah.
What was the speed?
I mean, the conditions were rough today, and it was just what was it? Everybody was out there,
I'll take it. How are you?
I think everybody
It's 30 seconds.
all went together. The conditions were really
Happy.
not lousy.
Yeah. Were you the top American?
Were you aware that there was an incident with, I think, the Kenyan team? They may have passed one of the bottles outside of the correct zone, or I think. I'm just curious about whether you've heard anything about whether there might be a protest, or whether the USATF might file a protest.
I don't know.
Regarding that. Yeah.
Was it somebody in front of me?
Yeah.
What?
I went by her.
No, the winner was Paris Churchill, and so I think she may have been one of the ones who was involved. So.
I have no idea.